Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I haven't been on here in a while because honestly, I just haven't felt very inspired to upload. But now I'm feeling extremely inspired because yesterday my ex-narcissist reached out to me, and honestly, I should have expected that to happen because of the full moon energy. I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but full moon energy tends to just bring people back around. Like, I know people say, oh yeah, the retrograde, like when Mercury is retrograde, it brings people around. But I've come to find, or I've observed, that the full moon can have a very similar energy, that people who you have unresolved issues with tend to like resurface around that time. So yeah, my ex-narcissist reached out and it caused like this whole big shit show that I'm not even going to get into. But all I do know is that all of the rage that I was, I guess, suppressing, or that I thought I had previously purged, came back to the surface. So now I need somewhere to put that rage. And this year, 2025, is a Mars year. So it is a year where a lot of people are going to be processing rage and anger from the things that they've experienced, from the abuse and the trauma that they experienced that they got no justice for. So I now feel inspired and moved to start a new series on here where we are going to be focusing specifically on narcissist and narcissistic abuse. So if you have been the victim of a narcissist, this series hopefully will help you to process and work through any of those feelings that you still are carrying with you. And then hopefully you'll be able to move forward with peace of mind, because that's what we all deserve. We all deserve to be able to heal and move forward, I wanted to quickly add one more thing, and sorry if this audio, if this part of the audio sounds different from the rest of the reading, but I'm literally adding this in at the end. That's why I forgot to mention that my personal readings are open. So if you have been confused or stuck about a certain situation or a certain person even, and you're really wanting clarity in order to move forward with peace of mind, my readings are open. So the link to those readings will be in the description box down below. Oh, and as always, I will be doing an extended reading as well. Actually, for all of these readings for this series about narcissistic abuse, I will be doing extended videos as well. So if the reading resonates with you and you want more in-depth messages, the link to the extended will be in the description box. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So the topic of this specific reading is going to be, what is the ultimate punishment for how the narcissist treated you? Now, people tend to say, oh, don't worry about what type of karma they're getting, just move on with your life. And that sounds good. It sounds good. But when you face a certain level of injustice and you actually sit and realize how much they manipulated you and derailed your life, yeah, you want to know exactly how that is going to balance out, how they are going to get their karmic repercussions for that, that it's comforting to know those things. So I feel like this is a safe space where we can talk about exactly what's going to happen to that person that has done you wrong. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first card that I pulled is the Pluto card. Now, the Pluto card is a card that ultimately talks about facing your shadow, right? Because Pluto is the planet that rules over the underworld. It's the planet that asks us to face our deepest fears, insecurities, and things of that sort. So this lets me know that your ex-narcissist, or just anybody who did you wrong, because this could apply across the board, they are going to be forced to face their shadow, forced into it. I feel like they have done a very good job of being able to run away from it. Maybe they immediately jumped into a new relationship, or they discarded you and decided, I'm just going to focus on work or material gains, whatever they did to remove themselves from responsibility. And whatever it is that they are focusing on to remove themselves from the responsibility, that is going to be taken away from them. So if they moved into a new relationship, the relationship is going to be snatched away from them unexpectedly. If they try to just focus on work and making money, it's going to be snatched away from them. Their job could be snatched away from them unexpectedly. They could face financial hardship. So they are going to have to face themselves one way or another. They are going to end up in a state of being isolated and powerless, the same way that they made you feel, and this is going to be directly a consequence of their own actions. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for the Pluto card. mostly, like I said, I'm feeling this sensation of powerlessness and lack of control, which is something that they absolutely hate, but they are going to be put in that position. So yeah, the Pluto card is the card of karmic reckoning, and it's things that happen that are unexpected and unavoidable, and it forces them to experience the pain that they inflicted on other people. I feel like what I'm seeing with this card is that a lot of for a lot of you, your ex-narcissist was faking like they have transformed. Like, you might have looked on their social media and you see them talking about how they've grown so much and how they've transformed and how they had to cut ties with toxic people and they had to grow and all of this. Like, they were faking transformation, and the transformation looks like it genuinely did happen on the surface, but clearly we know it didn't, because if they truly transformed internally, then they will be able to self-reflect and they will be able to see the pain that they have caused, and they would feel remorseful about it, and they would have reached out and apologized for it, but they won't, and they don't, because they do not self-reflect. So any progress that they act like they've made on the surface, they actually have not made it. They actually haven't. It's a superficial facade that they are putting on, and they can run from themselves and they can run from you all they want to, but their reckoning is coming. It is coming, and they're going to be forced. They're going to be forced to feel that pain. And the crazy part is that I feel like when their reckoning comes and they're forced to feel it, they still are not going to put two and two together that it's because of the things that they did to you. They're not going to still put two and two together. I feel like they're going to actually feel like the universe is punishing them. I feel like they're going to actually feel like, why me? Why me? I've done nothing wrong. Because remember, narcissists, they're not just liars. They're also delusional, meaning that they have created a delusional false reality that they are living in. So they genuinely do think that they did nothing wrong. So when the universe does come in and level their life, they are going to be thinking to themselves that this is unfair. Like, this is not fair. This is not right. I don't deserve this. Why me? Why me? And it's a shame, because in that case, they're going to continue to do exactly what they've been doing. Like, they are not, even after their life gets destroyed, they're going to destroy it further by still doing the things that they do, because they're not going to grow or evolve. Even after that, they're still going to feel like the victim. The Pluto card also is a card that talks about isolation and solitude. So I feel like any genuine connections that they have, or no, sorry, they don't have any genuine connections. Let me backtrack. Any genuine connections that other people feel like they have with them are going to end, because the other people that they have connections with, they may feel like it's genuine, but of course we all know that the narcissist is not genuine. So it's looking like people are going to see through their facade. Like, I'm seeing people kind of waking up and being like, whoa, I thought this person was genuinely my friend, or I thought this person would genuinely love me, but I see that they don't. And then leaving the narcissist's life, like people waking up to the type of person that they are and the mask that they relied on. I'm seeing people like seeing through it, cutting ties with them. They have no emotional support, no sense of validation. So just kind of imagine a situation where they lose their entire social circle, or they lose their professional allies. There's a hit to their reputation, or even like their close family cuts them off due to their behavior. Pluto is also a card that talks about just very unexpected, painful endings. So I feel like if they discarded you, they could end up being discarded for someone else. So if they are like, if they moved on to a new relationship after they discarded you, it looks like that person is going to then discard them unexpectedly, completely unexpectedly, and choose someone else over them. This could also mean like a job that they have, them being fired and replaced with someone else. So they are going to be discarded in favor of someone else. So there's like a sense of their security being shaken up through like failed relationships, financial struggles, or even like public disgrace, like public fall from grace. I also did pull another card to clarify. I pulled the toil and labor card. So that card is talking about someone who has to really rebuild their life from scratch, because everything is going to be just completely destroyed. If your ex-narcissist already had mental health issues, which most likely they do, because being a narcissist is literally a mental illness. So if they already had mental health issues, it looks like it's going to, like, those can become worse. And it can even manifest as physical illness. So it can manifest as like chronic illness, heart problems. Like, there's something about physical illness tied to stress that is going to have an impact on them. But ultimately, it's just looking like it's a complete destruction and breakdown of their ego that could lead to feelings of depression or feelings of hopelessness, pretty much. And so, yeah, that's what I'm seeing for that. So the Tower card I also pulled along with the Child card in reverse. So the Tower card in reverse is someone who is trying to avoid, like they're trying to avoid something painful happening to them. So this could already be in motion, like little pieces of their life could already be like falling apart, but they're trying their best to hold the pieces together, but it's not working. So it looks like they're already facing consequences, but it's like small, subtle consequences, like very like gradual consequences. But eventually all those gradual small little things that are going wrong into their life, it's all going to accumulate into one like shit show pretty much, or it's going to accumulate into a moment where they are going to have to really sit and face exactly what they have done and like the pain that they've inflicted. So for example, just to give you a clear picture of what I mean, for example, they could be in a new relationship, right? And slowly but surely little things are happening in their relationship, right? So maybe they caught their partner liking someone else's picture on Instagram, and they confronted the partner, and the partner's like, no, it's nothing. They're just my friend. And then next thing you know, the partner is staying out a little later than usual. And the narcissist is like, well, why are you staying out so late? What are you doing? And the partner's lying, like, no, I'm not doing anything. So that's what I mean by little gradual things until it eventually leads up to it being revealed that they're being cheated on, they're being discarded, and the partner's leaving them for someone else. That's what I mean by like little gradual things happening that eventually build up and lead to the ultimate like destruction that takes place, you know? And if it's like a job situation, like I said, it could be the job, like slowly but surely, like little things, you know, maybe they get written up for being late for work one time, and maybe the boss just starts being really mean and disrespectful to them. Maybe the coworkers are turning on them slowly but surely, like just little things leading up to that until boom, finally they end up getting fired. So that's what I mean by there are like small consequences that are gradually happening, and eventually like is going to lead ultimately to their downfall. But the thing about the Tower card being in reverse is that their downfall might not be public. Like it might not be something that they post about. In fact, more than likely, they're not going to post about it. It's going to be something that's going on behind the scenes. And I know that when you hear that, some people might be like, oh my God, like I'm so sick of hearing that, because it makes it sound like BS. It makes it sound like, oh, they're going to suffer behind the scenes. Please. That's just a thing that people say to make themselves feel better. Right. But no, it's true. And I'm going to give you an example of why this is true. When my ex-narcissist discarded me, right? Well, actually, he did a reverse discard where he just kept pushing me until I reacted in a way where then he could be like, oh, I'm the victim and I'm leaving and you're toxic. Like, you know, the reverse discard thing that they do. When he did that, he quickly moved on to someone else, right? And I remember the exact date of when I found out. Like, I remember it was a specific, well, not the exact date, but it was a specific week that I found out that he had moved on and, you know, got his new supply, right? So after that, seemingly, like obviously I was crushed and destroyed, but after that, seemingly his life seemed to be like on the ups after that. Like he was just boasting so much on social media about like, hold on one second. Okay, sorry, y'all. I was getting a phone call. I hope that it didn't cut off like when I was talking. But just to quickly repeat what I said, just in case it did cut off. Like I was saying, I remember the exact week that he moved on to new supply, and I was crushed and devastated. And after that, like his life just seemed to go in an upward spiral. In an upward, I guess, would it be spiral? No, like his life just seemed to be on the ups. Let's put it that way. He seemed to be flourishing in life. Even after him and his new supply broke up, like he actually ended up like really hurting her and destroying her. And they ended up breaking up. But after that, it's like he just seemed like he had a windfall of good luck. Like all these good things were happening to him. And of course, he was very like boastful about it. And it was just very, disgusting, honestly, to witness, to the point where I just stopped witnessing it, meaning I just stopped watching, period, and just tried to focus on myself and move on with my life. And then I ended up hearing from him a year later. And when I say a year, I mean the exact week that, a year prior, I had found out that he had moved on to New Supply. A year to that date, he ended up reaching out to me and telling me that his life basically had taken a sharp left turn, and that he had ended up getting into a bad car accident. So he lost his car, and because he couldn't get to work, he was at a threat of getting fired, pretty much. And then there was like something else going on with him financially where he needed extra money, so he felt like he needed to get a second job. But because of his mental health issues, him working a second job would have landed him back in the mental hospital. Yes, back in the mental hospital, because he's been there numerous times. And no shade to anybody who's been to the mental hospital. I definitely have been as well. But like, I'm just giving you the details of this story. So yeah, that's what I mean when I say, like, you might think that they're flourishing, because he didn't post anything about his car crash on social media. He posted nothing about it. He posted nothing about him struggling financially and having to get a second job. He didn't post none of that, and how devastated he was and how he was in the darkest period of his life. Like, this is what he said to me when he reached out to me. And it was a year to the date of when he had did what he did. So that's how I knew it was confirmation. Like, this is karmic reckoning. Like, sometimes the person will appear to be winning, but what's happening is that they're getting roped to, like, the universe is giving them the rope to hang themselves. Oh God, I hope that YouTube does not demonetize me for saying that. But it's just a saying, like, that you think someone is winning, like you think someone is flourishing in life, and really the universe is just allowing them to elevate and elevate and elevate, so that crash down and the pain that they feel from that crash down is going to be similar to the pain that you felt when it inflicted the same on you. They built you all the way up and idealized you, and then just completely devastated you. And that crash down for us as victims is very painful, and they experience the same exact thing, and just in a different form. So yeah, if you ever start to think or doubt, like, oh, that's not true, karma's not coming, yes, it is. And if he had not reached out to me and told me these things, I would have never known. I would have never known, because he was not going to be posting any of that on social media. So that's what I mean by behind the scenes. So yeah. Also, what I'm seeing in this card is that if you're not witnessing their downfall, it's for your own protection. Now, let me explain what that means, because you're probably like, how is it my protection? I want to see their downfall. I get it. Like, I completely get it. But there's a couple of different reasons why you're being asked to not look at them or pay attention to them, so that you can't see their downfall. Because for one, basically seeing their downfall could stop you from fully detaching and moving forward in a way that you're supposed to. And I'm trying to explain exactly what I'm hearing. Basically, for a lot of us, what we are meant to do after this situation is to learn to turn completely away from certain people who have hurt us, and to build a life that's so joyful and satisfying that it eclipses all the things that they've done to us. And so sometimes when we kind of wait around to see that justice, it can block that from happening, because it puts into our subconscious that we don't have the ability to move on unless we see the punishment, unless we see the justice being served. Right. And think about it, if we had that in our subconscious, that we cannot move on until we see the justice being served, what happens if the justice is served 5 years later? Then we're stuck not moving on for 5 years. You see what I'm saying? So by us fully turning ourselves away from the situation and actually building a happy, healthy life for ourselves without ever seeing them get punished, it's putting into our subconscious that we have the ability to do that. So in the future, anybody who does us wrong, hopefully this will be the last person, right? But for future reference, if anybody does us wrong, now we have in our subconscious that we can move on. We don't need to wait for punishment. We don't need to stay stuck waiting for the punishment, because we know we have the ability to move on and create a happy life for themselves. And not only that, for ourselves, but not only that, we also have the ability to trust that the universe is going to dish out justice on our behalf. That's another thing that a lot of us are learning, is how to trust what we cannot see. And that in itself is going to be extremely healing for us, because that is going to expand to other areas of our lives, right? There are plenty of areas of life where we're going to have to walk by faith and not by sight. And this is just strengthening our ability to do that. You see? So yeah, that's why we're not meant all the time to see the person's downfall. It's actually protecting us and helping us on a subconscious level, you know? And for some of us, honestly, if you're still really emotionally tied to the narcissist, seeing their downfall could actually trigger feelings of empathy or guilt in you. And don't ever underestimate this or think that that will never happen, because it can, and it has. In the past, I've had, like, this is not the first time my ex-narcissist has experienced karma. It's not. They have experienced it before when they've done something hurtful to me towards the beginning of our relationship. And I completely could see that they deserved to have that happen to them, but it's still, because I was tied to them emotionally, it still triggered feelings of guilt. It still triggered feelings of empathy, to the point where I tried to save them from that karma. I stepped in and acted as like a shield from that karma. And I ended up getting hurt in the process, because when someone uses you as a shield, they're using you as an object. Like, think about it. Think about a shield being used, right? The shield is taking all the hits, and afterwards, the person who was using the shield just kind of throws the shield to the side, like, okay, thanks, whoops, thanks for the help. But the shield is the one that's all battered and broken, and now like laying somewhere in a corner, no longer of use. You know what I'm saying? So I stepped in to be that shield, and why do I want to say guide them? That's not the right word. But yeah, I stepped in to be that shield for them, and I ended up getting hit with the karmic repercussions that they should have taken on fully for themselves. So that is another reason why, you're being protected from seeing it, because for some of you, your empathy is really in overdrive, and it's something that you could still be working on. Like, you could still be working on not extending too much empathy to narcissistic, abusive people. And so until you're able to learn that and to not have that much empathy for them, you're being protected from seeing their karmic backlash, so that you won't step in and try to save them, or so it won't weigh on your conscience, So yeah, I don't want to make this reading too long, so I'm going to stop it there. We're going to get more in depth in the extended video. So there's two things that I want to explore in the extended video specifically. I mean, I'm just going to let any messages that come through, like, I'm just going to let them come. But there's two things that I want to explore. I want to explore how the narcissist's behavior is going to impact their future relationships or opportunities. So if they moved on to, like I said, if they moved on to a new person, or if they maybe got a really good financial opportunity after they've mistreated you, we're going to look at the way that is going to completely be destroyed. We're going to go into detail about that. And we are also going to look at how the universe is working in your favor to restore balance after this situation. So if you've been feeling imbalanced completely, which you should, because somebody coming into your life and doing all that when you only had pure intentions, yeah, it does feel completely unfair and it feels completely imbalanced. So we are going to look at how the universe is working in your favor to restore that balance. So yeah, we're going to be looking at their new relationship or their new opportunity, whatever that may be. And we're going to be looking at how the universe is working in your favor to balance all of this out. So the link to the extended will be in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this reading, and I will see you guys over in the extended video. Bye.